All right, welcome everybody to the June 2024 Idea Share with Key Ministry. My name is Beth, and this is just an opportunity to connect with your fellow disability ministry leaders, ask questions, share ideas, get encouragement, whatever it is that you need today. We're glad you're here. So who would like to start? You know I'm looking over you, Meekins. Unmute yourself and let's get this party started.
Okay, now, this dual team here, and he's got the controls. So, Tom is doing a really cool thing. So when we were at Disability in the Church conference, there was a woman who came up to us, and y'all probably know her, but I won't mention her name. And she was advocating for someone in her ministry who actually has the same syndrome that Amy has, our daughter Amy has, which is rare to find. And she said, "Do you have Amy's book in large print?" And we did not. And it never occurred to us to have it in large print. Now, what is wrong with us? I mean, we do this all the time, but it just didn't occur to us. And so now Tom is working on that project.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's, in doing some research, there's standards that go into large print books.
Publications.
So yeah, that's what I'm in the middle of right now, and enlarging it to 18 point, and yeah. So all those different things. So I don't know, has anybody had any experience with converting a book from a regular to?
I have it. I know personally, when I get books from the library, or like book club, I request large print because it's,
Yes.
I'm that age. It's just easier for me. But no, I have. Does anybody else have any experience with this?
Well, we'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I have Amy's book right. It's either at home or right behind me.
It's purple. If that helps. Because that's her favorite
color. Yeah.
I think it's sitting with my devotionals at home. So otherwise I'd show it to everybody. That's really cool. And I suppose if books are online, like I know with my Kindle or the Kindle app or whatever, I can make font bigger. Right.
She specifically, I think, wanted a printed version.
Yeah,
or one that could be printed. Like, we're going to send it to her digitally, but she could print it if she wanted to. Are we sending it to her?
I was thinking just sending her.
I don't know how we're doing it.
Yeah, we're not there yet. So yeah. Just send it.
Yeah. So we'll probably then send a print copy, which is what she really needed. So we thought this is a protocol. Is that what it's called? No. What is it called when you do it for the first time? There's a name.
Prototype.
Thank you. Prototype. Yes.
Then it could become a protocol.
Yes, that's the goal. The goal. So we'll print some out for the next conference and have them on the table and see, that's needed.
That's great.
Wanted.
Yeah, very cool. And yes, and the Meekins are the only people I know who can be successful in sharing a Zoom square. You guys are really good at it.
It's rare. I don't know why more people don't do it. Although I have seen husbands and wives in the same.
Now, during COVID, when we would try to do small group, and my husband, no, I was like, another room. I can't share with you. All right. Well, thanks for kicking us off. Who else would like to share something or ask something?
Well, just wanted to ask the Meekins if they had reached out to, and I almost said Maryland School for the Blind, but a school for the blind that does large print materials for students in school.
Excellent idea.
We may be onto something. I don't know where it could go, but thank you for that suggestion. Yes.
Because we only have the guidelines that we found online. They have the practical everyday, what is really working for their people. So thank you for that, Sylvia.
Good thought. Love it. All right, who else?
We've tried a couple of things recently. David's Table is, we're reaching out with the love of Jesus to adults with disabilities and their families. Young Life Capernaum International we're local, has a part of their program here in Greenville. A couple of Saturdays ago, we had they had a day at a horse ranch. Our friends have a horse ranch. We provided help from us and a couple of other groups. Our adult friends with disabilities were a part of the program, part of the help. We served Young Life Capernaum. If you fast forward to September, Camp David is coming up. All this is from humble beginnings. It's crazy right now, but last year we had about 350 people come to Camp David. And this year, Young Life Capernaum is going to do the program, all the fun stuff, the county fair, the skits, that sort of thing. They're returning the favor to us. And I think we're blessed to be able to have enough, not an abundance of resources, but enough resources to reach out to another group, and then to have them reach out to us. And we're finding that sort of thing continues to go on. It's not just us. God's plan includes probably all of y'all. I know it includes Key Ministries. We're just grateful for the folks that we have met and known and have shared ideas with us. And some of them we've been able to work together on.
I love that, Skeeter. Thank you for sharing. So I think it's just so important that we are like open and intentional about collaborating with other ministries, with the community. These are both David's Table and Young Life Capernaum, of course, are both Christian, faith-based organizations, but it really it introduces Jesus to the community in a big way. And I'm excited that you all are partnering together, and I feel like opportunities like this where we work together, or like Disability in the Church conference when we're together in person, like it starts to generate these like little networking opportunities that turn into like actual relationships where we're working together. And I think that's fantastic.
Well, let me do one more.
Yeah.
And then I'll quit. We have a garden. It has grown into a very significant garden. It started with me in charge and 3 little raised beds, and one bed raised enough she could bring a wheelchair under. To say that first summer, we harvested two nasty ears of corn, about 15 green beans, and zucchini that wouldn't fit in the screen here. A bunch of that, which is too big. Since then, we've had some folks come alongside who actually know how to do stuff. In the last couple of years, we have sold vegetables and plants. It'd be descriptive to say our friends seeded 800 tomato and pepper plants, and now those have either been sold or planted. We are taking that idea and offering, we don't know whether they'll take it or not, but Thrive Upstate provides housing, group homes, a whole bunch of group homes, and daycare. They used to have a greenhouse and a garden on site. It went away with COVID. We're asking the folks in leadership Greenville, now that'd be the folks who will one day be the power structure of Greenville. They want a project. We're going to offer them a project to put together to rebuild the garden there at Thrive as a community garden where their folks can harvest eventually, work the garden, harvest eventually, feed their families. A lot of our folks, that's going to be important. But these young adults, and I'm thinking maybe up to 40 years old, will provide the money and the manpower. We'll provide the idea and the backup. And hopefully we're a little late to do a garden this year, but hopefully we'll have some things. This coming Saturday, we are planning our pumpkin patch. If anybody has a football, we'd like to have that because we need to see if Lucy will hold it while Charlie Brown kicks the football. It's been amazing. Katie has put together some things that where we are collaborating with folks. I mean, the worst thing you could do as a person interested in David's table would be asked the question, do you think you could play ukulele? Because we're going to tell you, I don't know, but I think we should try.
Mm-hmm. That's your motto. I think we should try.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
I'm
great.
done. I'm done. Thank you.
If anybody wants to learn more about David's Table, so I recommend that you go to their website. Also, I did a podcast episode with them. So it's at keyministry.org/podcast. They're just delightful, first of all, and they do really cool things. So I encourage you to check it out. Julie, you had your hand up.
So this is in line with Skeeter. Did you get to collaborate with Scott Habib and Masterpiece Alliance at Disability in the Church? Because that is somebody I think the two of you would really enjoy each other. He was into Capernaum for a long time and he realized that once they were finished with Capernaum, there was nowhere for them to go, like what you're doing with the adults,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So he started Masterpiece Alliance with a bunch of people, and they're close to us. They're about an hour away from us in Roanoke, Virginia. And I think that you two would really enjoy each other, and you would really spur one another on in the ideas that you have for the things that you're doing. The other thing I wanted to mention to you, this is a little bit of a plug for our son, because we think it might be helpful to the people that are trying to get that garden going again. Our son is Joshua Meekins, and his little deal is called The Garden is Growing. He's on social media, so you can find him anywhere on social media. And he's got very simple ideas about how to get going, and then how to sustain what you can sustain. Very humble, and of course he's my son, and I'm talking very glowingly about him. I can't help myself, but I really think that some of the people that are, trying to get that garden up again would enjoy his things. He's got 3 little boys, and they're very entertaining, and he puts them on there too. So I just wanted to share that with you too, because that might be helpful to somebody.
Is he doing anything with hydroponics?
That's funny. Tom did a little experiment with hydroponics last year, but Josh is not. He's not doing hydroponics.
Yeah.
It was mentioned today. There's another group in South Carolina that's doing that with a group that
cool.
would relate to all of us. And they're finding that hydroponics is easier for their friends than dirt.
Wow, I did aquaponics, which fed my plants with fish.
Wow.
Fish do.
Very smelly.
The fish water just circulates through the whole system. It's fascinating, but I need to get back to it and perfect it. So yeah, that's something that would be a good thing to do.
Well, that's very interesting about the aquaponics, or whatever it's called, being easier for our friends with disabilities. That's something to consider and to plug. Yeah, for sure.
So all these things that have been mentioned, if anybody would like to throw, links to, like for instance, to your son or whatever, then when I post this video, which people do go back and watch the recordings, we'll have those links. This is fun. All right, who else? And if not, I have 2. Oh, good, Lydia. Okay.
All right, can you hear me? Okay, perfect. I'm not familiar with Zoom, so this is fun. I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm new to the group. My name's Lydia. My church here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, just started a special needs ministry, and so we are sponges. We're here to soak all of it up and learn everything we can. So I'm just really thankful to have found this community. We started meeting in October last year with 3 individuals who are already part of our body. And now it's June and we have 12. So we're growing, and it's a lot. It's a lot, but it's so good. And so I'm thankful to have found you guys.
No, that's wonderful. Well, welcome. Yes, this is a fabulous group. I mean, I'm looking around at these faces. These are the people that I feel like, kept me going these last, 4 years now. That's fabulous. Lydia, what age group do you mostly have?
We have right now ages 12 through 31.
Great. Great. Awesome. Well, welcome. Thanks for being here. All right, I'm going to throw out one of my questions. So these are 2 things that have come in like in the last week or 2. And so, anyway, so this will be an interesting discussion topic because this describes some of the people on our little Zoom here today. Does your church have a policy or a practice or whatever about allowing parents whose kids are in your, special needs, and I'm air quoting here, your special needs ministry, to serve in special needs ministry? Does anybody have any thoughts on that? Or is this something that has come across your desk, Sylvia?
Interesting that you say that. We just went through that because we have Vacation Bible School coming up in the end of July. And previously, it wasn't really a question. I don't know what the assumption was, but it is no longer an assumption because this year we are requiring parents to be fingerprinted. Just for the sake of covering everybody that's in the room. So, and we do our own fingerprinting. We have our own system of fingerprinting and stuff. So we just need to let our human resources office know, and they'll set up a date. They have scheduled dates, and we just need to let our participants know. So we've informed our parents that they need to be fingerprinted.
So what you're saying is if parents are staying around to help their kids or whatever, they're going to be counted as volunteers and therefore put through the whole screening process.
Oh, correct.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I'm reading the chat. I just read fish poop. Okay. Barb.
Ours is similar. So if a parent wants to stay back with their child, especially an even new transition to the church, we would put them through the same background checks and everything that you would for any volunteer, because that keeps the safety policy for all the kids. Having said that, as far as if they want to serve in the disability ministry, that is completely up to them. We do not put an expectation one way or the other on that. And we have found that for some parents, they really don't want to serve in any kind of children's ministry, disability ministry, because they want that time to do something else. And for other parents, being able to serve with another family's child is very, very fulfilling for them. So we just let them lead it, whatever they want to do.
Okay. But point being, they do have to go through volunteer screening process. Okay.
Yes.
We're gonna go Allison and then Julie.
Yes, ditto to the safeguarding policy, etc. But I have to say, I went into it very much kind of like, no, parents, this is your time, you don't have to serve. And then I had one mum drop her son off at respite night, multiple times. And then she said, listen, Alison, she goes, there's only so many times I can walk around a supermarket on my own. When you guys are having fun back here, she goes, I want to be part of this. So it's like Barb said, I mean, it's their choice. And again, I've got another mum who her daughter's been part of the respite program for over 10 years. And she's now one of my key volunteers for my younger kids. And she just loves pouring into the parents that are at that stage with the 3-year-olds, got the diagnosis on the autism spectrum. And she's like, I've been there, it's okay. Her daughter's now 12. And it has been life-changing as regards to what she can offer the parents that I can't, but it's all on because she wants to be there. So I think it is that case of no expectation that they should be there, absolutely. But if they choose to want to come and join in, I have to say I've been doubly blessed by them being involved.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. That's great. Julie.
So our director, she's been doing this ministry for what, 20 years now? For a long time. So I work under her part-time officially now. And she has developed a policy that if the parents want to serve in her department, they need to come to the parent support group. Because her fear is that they're not getting the kind of support that they need if they're doing, you know, their child at home or children at home, and then they're immersing themselves in the church, serving, are they getting fed in some kind of way? And so we happen to run the parent support group, and she knows that it's really all about scripture and it's about God and it's about, you know, relying on him for strength. So she added that as a little, yes, you can serve, and you do have to go through all the background stuff, just like, you know, Barb was saying, and but that's an extra thing that she requires.
Okay, thank you. Any other thoughts on this? Yes, Susanna.
Yes. Hey. So I'm new to this. I got to come to the DATC, which was a huge blessing. So I'm a special needs mom, and I lead our special needs ministry. So obviously I'm
I know
there.
there's a couple of you on this call, which is why I thought it was, you know, a good question.
Yeah. And you know, yeah, it's you know, I guess there's some limitations, I guess, with that. Sorry, we've got craziness at my house. It's the first day of summer and my 15-year-old syndrome, and now the dog's barking. Probably Amazon came to the door. Anyway, yeah, so I guess there's some limitations with that, you know, having especially as kids myself. But there's also, you know, the other side of it where you guys were talking about, you know, how you can relate to the parents and be, you know, a resource for them also. And we do have parents that serve in our ministry. In fact, at the moment, we're a little too heavy on parents serving in the ministry. We need some other people to serve as well. But, you know, I have one lady who I think feels a lot like I do, as far as it's kind of a calling for her. And then I have a couple other parents who they serve once a month, you know, and you know, the parents are at different stages. You have some that their kids are healthy and they can be there every single week pretty much. And so, you know, it makes sense for, if they want to, for them to be able to serve once a month. And, you know, we have other families who struggle with, you know, a lot of behaviors or a lot of sickness. And, you know, they just, if they're able to make it, they just need to go to the service. And, you know, so I've heard the policies about parents not serving, and I get where that's coming from. I mean, I do, you know, but, and as far as I like what you guys were saying about making sure that as the person that's, you know, pouring into others, that you're getting fed yourself. And one of the best things I've done for myself is, joined a Rising Above community group with Becky Davidson. So last year we hosted By the Brook at our church, their mom's conference. And so after that, I got connected with that connection group, and then I've been doing that all year long. We're hosting again By the Brook, and this is Wesley.
Hi.
Yes. Okay. Let me talk. Anyway, no thumbs down.
No.
Yeah, we have this big transition to summer break, and he's like not all about it. He loves school and all that. So anyway, but that's where we fall, I guess, on that is letting parents serve if it makes sense and if they want to. So.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is it's certainly not an expectation that if that's what parents want to do, most of everybody that we heard from, the churches are open to it. They do need to go through the screening process, you know, the same as everybody else. And as with all volunteers, make sure they're getting discipled, that they're getting fed. And so, you know, create those opportunities. So there's a question in the chat about this. What about parents serving at the same time as their kid, or is alternating it best? And that, you know, that's really that's really tricky, because if they need some kind of childcare in order to be able to serve, that might only end up being the time that their kid is there. Does anybody have any thoughts on that question? Can parents serve in their own child's classroom, I guess is what, or their own child's, activity or program? Susanna.
So, yeah, I think that's individual as well. There are some parents that are like, yeah, my kid's not going to do good if I'm there. But the parents we do have, we only have the one class.
Yeah.
And so if they're serving with their child there. And, and we have several that do, just fine with that. And of course, our kids, most of our kids go to the large group with our volunteers. So some of them aren't like directly interacting with mom and dad the whole time, but so it's individual. It just,
Yeah,
it
I would
just
imagine it
depends
depends a lot on the family. So I just want to catch up in the chat. So Tom and Julie shared the link to The Garden is Growing. That's Joshua Meakin. So we'll share that link. And Skeeter shared David's Tables link. And then Susanna shared that her son's school has a garden and does hydroponics and has fish poop Fridays. When they take the fish poop and use fertilizer, are not necessarily the same as aquaponics that was described. Who knew that this is what we would be talking about today? Welcome to Disability Ministry. Idea share. Okay. Awesome. I have another question, but if somebody else has something to say or a question, they can go first. But you all are muted, so I will go ahead and ask mine. Okay. Somebody have something.
Lydia, got a chat in there for you. A friend, Tom Kofer, is involved with Young Life Capernaum in Chattanooga and concerned about folks who are graduating. Hadn't talked to him in a couple of years, but might be a good contact for you.
Thank you so much. Yes.
I love it. Networking. Okay. Here's my next question. So what do you know that's out there? And I'm asking, so this question came to me locally, okay? But I'm gonna just see if you all have any ideas, and that might help me answer this person's question. But so they're familiar with, so they know of a young adult who they described as having Asperger's. So depending on, you might level 1 autism, like there's all the different terms, who really needs community. Like what, and again, I know we all live in different places, but can you give me examples of what you see that's working really well for young adults who are, whatever you want to say, Asperger's, high end of the spectrum, whatever the words are that you use, but we're talking about, like they can live pretty much on their own, employed, but just having a hard time finding community. Barb, you're nodding. Can you help me out with this?
Yes. Okay.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you know what I'm asking, right? Like,
yeah. So this is just an idea. It may not be exactly what you're looking for, but I think this for youth ministry directors to think outside the box of what is typical for youth ministry. So, like when my son was in youth group, he didn't like any of like the big loud music and like all of the social stuff and all of the like high energy, which is what youth directors always do. And so one of his youth directors did a board game night. So I think if we're telling people when we're talking about universal design and inclusivity, it means also having other events that might appeal to different people, because that was something he could invite his friends to, or other people who had similar personalities might feel comfortable with. So that's just one area I think that needs to be very developed in youth ministry.
Yeah, I like that. And thank you for sharing the level 1 through 3 ASD. Thank you. There's a good link in the chat. So along these lines, this person was, and these are not people that go to our church. So but they were seeking out this information. What do you know out there that's like residential community options? Tough one.
I don't know of any group home that folks could afford. That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
There is a group in the Dallas, Texas area, started out a young life, built a house where the family lives, another family lives, and 7 guys and 7 women. They live there. You have to try out to live there. It's private pay, but I understand it's less money than what the government would put in it. And I'll think of what it is before we're done. The other is sort of our church bought an apartment complex. It was apartments meant to be for the technical school here, those students, but they all live at home. So it never was successful. We got a good deal. And now the people that live there, it's a conglomeration of people coming out of prison, people who are abused or trafficked, people coming from other countries legally, who need a start. They get to live there for 2 to 3 years, and then they're done. But they've gotten all sorts of resources. They are also, there's probably a half a dozen or 8 of what our church would call Mosaic friends who live there in a supported sort of way. They're able to do for themselves in terms of feeding and bathroom, all the physical sort of things, but they need some help learning how to do a checkbook. And they're just, they get to stay as long as they want to.
Okay.
Now, whether or not that can be reproduced, I don't know. I guess our church had the ability to either pay or borrow $17 million to get that started. We got a big church.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all of that started when somebody needed a place to live, and the church got a house.
Yeah.
And that was 17 or 18 years ago.
Wow. Very cool. Thank you for sharing that. So I'm going to call on Michelle, and then we're getting some links in the chat to check out too. But Michelle, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm from New York State. I'm from Buffalo. This is my first time joining in. So I'm not sure what each of you have in your own different states in terms of government funding and programs, but two things. Now, they are not church-based, religious-based organizations, but there is an organization called A Home of My Own. And I know in our area, we actually just opened up 2 of them, but it can be something that the churches can get behind. And what it is basically the one that is just opening up in our area is an apartment complex that has been sold, and it's being set up for individuals with special needs who have the ability to be able to live independently. But then it also has individuals living in the same complex independently, so there's social opportunities and ways for them to be able to connect. But also another, and I know that some states have it, but are some of you familiar with self-direction? Do you have it in your states at all? Okay, so this is through the federal government and New York State. And so self-direction is a budget that is funded for individuals, and it allows them to qualify for housing subsidies to be able to live independently. So that's a thing that we have for our son. We have a 16-year-old. He obviously lives at home. He's still in school, but once he becomes an adult, then his funding will increase, and we have the ability to hire his own staff to be able to determine what he wants to do. For us, it has been great because when there is a shortage of volunteers in our church, and sometimes you have a lot of people serving one particular individual in order to meet the need. So what it has allowed us to do is to bring our staff in that we've hired through this program, and she will go with him. So when we have Vacation Bible School, or if we have larger events and you have someone who's 100% familiar with him, can help him facilitate and attend the event and integrate as much as possible. So those are just some thoughts. So
wow, okay, this is like a lot of great information. Thank you. And there's more links. So I will be, because I'm not talented enough to look at the links while Zooming. So I will post all these with on both our Vimeo and YouTube channels after today. So thank you for what you've shared verbally and for the links in the chat. Anybody else have any questions or ideas or anything going? How many people are doing Vacation Bible School this summer? Anybody on this call? Just Sylvia? Everybody else, if they're doing it, they're too busy to get on the call today. All right, and By the Brook, which is the Rising Above the retreat, is anybody doing By the Brook this year? So our church is actually doing it not on the day that everybody else will be doing it. So we're actually doing a we're going to actually be doing a different download, if you will. We're doing the one from 2 years ago. We'll be doing that at our live event. So I thought Al was at the airport. I'm reading the chat now. I thought he was at an airport. Julie.
So By the Brook is wonderful. It's just a wonderful retreat for women. And I think she says the advertisement is to moms and grandmas. So we had one at our house. So if you couldn't be part of, I think last year was all digital, wasn't it?
Yes, this year there's a live component in Tennessee.
Right. And you can also do it in individual homes, and then they have live stream places in different churches, right? So it was a big deal I had done it during COVID by myself in my living room because everybody was doing everything by themselves in their living room. And I just loved it so much that I was like, okay, we need to do this with the ladies in our church. Well, it kind of corresponds close to VBS. My director was overwhelmed already. And she was like, I don't think I can handle doing that kind of an event. So I invited, you weren't part of this. I invited
it was for the women.
10 or 9 other ladies, and we just sat in our living room and we just watched all of this stuff, and it was lots of opportunity to collaborate to have conversation together. It was very well done. It's always been very well done. So this year we have so many projects ourselves personally that I wasn't able to do that again, but the people that came have decided to do it themselves in their own living rooms and inviting people in. So the ripple effect is awesome. When that can happen, it's really good. So I feel better because my people are getting the opportunity to do it, even though I have to step out. And I want to see that happen more and more anyway. We want to pass that baton, right? So I am overjoyed by that, but it's a great thing to be a part of.
That's fantastic. And so I have to tell you, so we're doing, it did not work well. The date that it's the live one did not work well for us this year. So that's why we're doing it a different day. So that's why we have to do a different unit, whatever. But we are going to do it. So we're doing it at a Friday night and during the day on Saturday. But the Friday night, we're also going to do a respite event. And so that will allow like the young moms who maybe don't have childcare options to attend at least Friday night, even if they can't do Saturday. So we're pretty excited about that. So. All right, anybody else? All right, well, thank you, everybody, and welcome to the new people. This is exciting. So later this month, the third Wednesday of the month, we'll be doing a mental health ministry video roundtable. So I invite you to join us for that. And let's see. Yeah, we just have good stuff coming up. So, you know, keep following Key Ministry on social media, you know, to be in the know about upcoming things. And I just thank you for being here and thank you for all the work that you do. So
Thank you.
yeah, well, we'll see you next. Oh, wait, yes, we do. Yeah, I think we will. Try to think. I'll get back to you on if we're doing one in July. Sometimes when it falls too close to 4th of July, we don't do it. So stay tuned. All right. Thanks, everybody.